Hello, welcome. This is the Daily Dharma. My name is Deana. Thank you for joining us. This is, of course, Impressive Warriors channel. So, first things first, I wanted to go through a little bit of the astrology. The rest of this reading is timeless, and whenever you get this message should be the right time for you if it resonates. So, as I'm looking at the astrology of the moment of this broadcast, we just had the sun moved to about the 14th degree of Cancer, and Mercury is just moving into, just passing through the 0 degree onto the first full degree of Cancer also. And at the same time as Mercury is at that 0 through 1 degree, we have Mars today going from the 0 to the first degree of Taurus, putting the two of them in what's 60-degree angle is called sextile to each other. It's supportive, but it takes a little bit of efforting on our behalves energetically, as well as potentially we may need to find ourselves reaching out for clearing up misunderstandings or slights and offenses. So we also have Chiron, the wounded healer, has been right around mid-Aries for a few weeks here, right now at about 17 degrees. And then the next sign over in Taurus, where we've got the North Node of Destiny, we have Uranus at 17, 18 degrees of Taurus. And then at Gemini, 15 degrees, we have Venus, and then we have the Cancer Sun. All four of those signs are in the, if you go from 0 degrees of Aries inward, that's the first few houses of the zodiac, all having that midpoint-ish, just beyond the midpoint activation, but starting at Chiron, which is nearby Jupiter, which expands anything it gets near. So not to give you too many details up front, but what I'm seeing here is there's an exaggerated focus on the wounded nature with that Chiron and Aries. It's like feeling some type of a way about our limitations, like maybe it's the outer circumstance and something about being ourself is being challenged. There's this idea of this long-standing, a bit of an identity shift, a consciousness shift, where the past that used to define us is falling away, and what is emerging is the more enlightened self. And sometimes the enlightened self sees more than the pleasantries of denial and delusion and self-comforting cycles or addictive patterns. And so for many months previous, I think back into 2019, we were coming through those devilish addictions, and then we've still got many of our viewers will have already surpassed many of those challenges, and then we'll have another cross-section where they're either dealing with them in their own energy, their own habit patterns in some type of a way, or having addictive role models, codependent role models, things like that, that still somewhat trigger us or repeat in our outward perception. So we're seeing those other people playing out the dynamics that we're preconditioned to receive some type of an energy signature from that to then activate ourselves in a new way. And I believe that for some time we've been really breaking away from the concepts of organized religion, organized social conditioning, and trying to move beyond what the society says we need to do and how to get back into the identity with unity consciousness. It's not about what we should do for others. It's about recognizing that what we do to others is ultimately the mirror that we act upon the self with. And this is difficult to wrap our minds around. But I feel that for many of us, we've been dealing with some of these issues here. So Chiron, that wounded healer, is semi-sextile to Uranus, breaking free, not breaking free, but there's a breaking of habit patterns, breaking ties with lower energies and lower patterns, fear complexes and things, insecurities, with it being in Taurus, which is where we generate wealth, and our attraction patterns, how we feel about being embodied. Taurus is the body. Aries is like the initial spark, the impulse and the desire to be separate and to be unique. And then Taurus is the aspect of being in that body and that belief and pleasure, and that we're here not for just getting a job and retiring and then, then that's it. We're more than just a job. We're more than just doers. We're beings here, and getting back to that space. And both of those elements there connected to Sun and Venus, that's more of like, what are we attracting? How are we attracting it? Are we happy and pleased by the attraction patterns we've been engaging in? And are we getting what we thought we were going to get? Are we who we thought we set out to be? And is that for the better or for the worse? And where are we readjusting? So many of those issues have been coming through. And I pre-laid out a couple of cards just because when they fell, it was just supposed to happen. So I took them. The first two, lying face up, conception and root chakra. Now, conception came out several times during the pre-shuffle, so that was one of the reasons why I kept it. So in that case, I'll go ahead and read it. And that is the 16 card corresponding with the Tower in the Major Arcana, about realizations, changes. I don't know what's going on with the lighting in here. It didn't just turn amber on my side. We'll deal with it, guys. So conception here is talking about the frequency invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. And coming out with that in root chakra, it's like understanding a new way of being. It's like having that epiphany moment where we're understanding the impact of some type of action or word or choice, and suddenly moving forward with a newfound understanding of, almost like, I know this might sound cliche, but the meaning of life for you, the meaning of co-creation. And so I want to tell you what else is on the table. So under the deck, I had a clear small stack that popped up and showed themselves. So this is the next group here. There's 5 cards. And then under the deck, I took a look at those. So first we had 31, magic. The divine masculine, 22. Magic was 31. 42. Tantric journey right in the middle, and then 13, coherence, and 17, consciousness. There goes the color back to normal. So yeah, it's like with this astrology, I didn't even go through everything yet before I got into this, because it seems like there's a few things going on. The moon is also opposed right now to Neptune in retrograde, and Neptune is very slow mover, so its retrogrades are not possibly as altering as some of the others, but it comes to a point where Neptunian patterns of those deceptions, addictions, or just glossing over, or just using meditation too much, or just using doing too much and not meditating ever, those issues of energetic imbalances begin to bleed through into our actions and our manifestations and our emotional states of well-being. And so this with the moon right at those, the ending degrees, in opposition, Pisces to Virgo, as the moon is finishing up Virgo at the time of this broadcast, getting ready to move into the relationship sign of Libra, which is ruled by Venus, which is down in that other mixture of those 4 signs, having conversations about self-sovereignty and the individuated self and the value of self, and are people really wounding us, or is it a perception, or is there something that we need to do differently here? Were we acting from our wounded nature, and how can we detox that out of our future manifestations? I feel like that's this epiphany breakthrough here, where something is not only recognized, realized, it's taken root. Something has come into awareness and then has been processed. And that's this coherence and consciousness. And that's what the conception talks about, is consciousness, if you didn't catch that. Manifesting through our focused awareness and intention. It says invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, in how we manifest through awareness. And root chakra is sort of the origin point of plugging into the embodiment experience. And until we feel secure and safe in our skin, in our environment, in our partnerships, we're unable to reach beyond that point of fear and panic that blocks being able to root into that. It blocks the conception of the manifestation. But when we can get into that moment, into the flow and understanding of the impact upon the environment, upon ourselves, the full meaning of something being processed through the emotions versus maintaining a sense of too much busyness, too many distractions, or too many responsive, reactionary, I want to say reactions as opposed to feelings, because they're different. And I want to distinguish here because of tantric journey and a number of things that I was meditating upon all weekend when I had the long weekend here in the States. The understanding of the impact on the consciousness level and the feelings that are underlying not only just triggers or the full understanding of the energetic impact of someone else's choices and actions that we're working with and conceiving with, right? Trying to connect and bond with other individuals. And to have that meeting of minds, meeting of energies here, where there can be spontaneous creation, spontaneous co-creation instead of spontaneous combustion. I was thinking also about this broadcast by Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, and talking about, was this one individual really in her alignment before she allowed momentum to gain control of where she was going? And was that why she was seeking for something else instead of being bored or apathetic, or instead of perhaps even following through on creativity or whatever it is in your situation, where we kind of slide back into negative manifesting through the use of our energy and the use of our magic to in a way that is less than fully conscious. We think that we're manifesting what we want, but we're manifesting something that we're unaware of in the moment in some situations. And I feel that that's the breakthrough moment here, is how the use of our intention and some type of action was impacting another individual, or how their action was impacting ourselves. And there's an understanding breakthrough consciousness moment. And I don't see communication here out, but under the deck, I did look at the next two cards, and belief, 11 was under there, with delight, 19, in throat chakra number 5. And what is under throat chakra? Perception, third eye, heart, discernment, sacral chakra, and dynamics. So yeah, the sense of being able to communicate your perceptions and your perhaps conscious awareness of the impact of something, the mutual impact upon what the mutual manifestation is here. And being able to connect with a heart-based reality where we are developing empathy and not utilizing sympathy. Distinguishing those also because of divine masculine with magic here. I'm feeling a fair amount of lack of consciousness in different situations, whether it's the current situation or one that's on the mind, and perhaps influencing the perceptions and conception here of something, right? So this consciousness level, there needs to be a heart-based discernment of whether it's fear, whether it's lack of faith, whether it's lack of belief, or whether it truly is focused on what's right in a situation. You know, not being taken for granted or not feeling worthy and getting into that dynamic, reactionary, angry sense of something, and being able to communicate with that sense of thoughtful, mindful, truth-based, magical use of what's right and true and what we do intend, and not advocating for what we don't intend at the same time. Because as Esther Abraham was kind of indicating, she likes to be somebody who goes towards sparkly things. She calls it being a pointer, and this individual that she was counseling in the moment was talking about, well, I want this except for this. And so Esther's pointing out the blockage is self-induced by focusing on what we don't want, and by putting that into consciousness and using our throat chakra to advocate for what's wrong continues to show us what's wrong. And so there's a key moment of understanding how we speak and think. And for myself, I had to, at this point, I enjoy letting things, if they're bothering me, I write them out. And then I, to shift my energy, I shifted and I already took back my energy, and then I posted down here, I'm open and ready to receive the blessings, abundance, and prosperity. These everyday miracles find me easily while I am meditating, gardening, creating, channeling. I'm proud to have such loving and inspirational insights for others and myself. And I go on to itemize all of these things. And if you can get into the flow with that, then this is, and as the law of abundance is talking about, there's an abundance of positive and negative thoughts if you tune into those. And so finding yourself in the stream of negativity, you're the only one who can truly self-declare, taking back your energy, taking back your power from the belief in the negative, and to then uplift into what is right and true. Even if this situation is showing me something I don't want, that will help me to define what I don't want, and it automatically releases me from the belief that I need to go in that direction. So knowing that, all right, moving on, right? So let's see what the shamanic decks have to share with us today about these messages. Excuse me. Clearing that throat chakra. So many of you may find it helpful if you find that you need to communicate something that may be challenging even to yourself, to go through and do some throat exercises, releasing any type of errant judgment about yourself or others, and being as accountable as possible for the use of your energy and the true beliefs that you hold about other people's abundance. Like, for instance, somebody told me something about an ex over the weekend. I'm like, well, I wish them well. I really do. I don't want anybody to be feeling any type of a way. Oh, look at that. So what popped out when I was saying that was the number 2, beloved, radical acceptance. As long as you're worried about what your exes are doing, you're negatively intending your own life to be blocked. Heart home, compassion, number 27 at the bottom of the deck. And I see over here kind of a split where we see the mystical shaman, the namesake of one of the decks in here. I think I'll take the split and I'll take a few from each. So out of the one that says heart, home, compassion on the bottom here, somebody is heart-based in their reality and may have had a moment of misunderstanding or concern between themselves and another. So let's take for this individual, hollow bone, teachability. Don't be quick to assume or jump to conclusions or use your energy to break or destroy that unless it's something that is beyond, right? But with beloved, radical acceptance here, I'm sensing that there's more to the story. So ask more questions and assume much, much less in this moment. Middle world, there's some real life practical concerns here that have come through, and somebody's asking a lot of questions. They're insulating themselves, I'm hearing, maybe taking some time alone, separation, time for contemplation, tuning into ancestors and guidance, to the subtle realms and the higher vibrational urges and necessities in the moment. And what needs to be awakened is, a spiral. So how to change your alchemy from the lower sense into where you want to be, into the sense of where do you want to go, where are you being redirected to. And Fortune's Wheel, luck and right timing, 23 coming here for this heart home individual. This is, I would say, a moment where luck and divine intervention has come through something that is a teaching moment that was difficult to understand and to feel your way through, but something has just divinely shifted in your own energy. I feel like that Fortune's Wheel is this tantric journey, and one or both individuals have have come to a massive shift in their energy and understanding of others. Being very cautious and self-protective is a good thing here, because there's more to protect yourself from than the other individual. It's also the inner saboteur that would tell yourself to give up or to believe the worst in other individuals. Stay centered in your compassionate heart. And what's going on over here? I'm seeing Spirit of the River under the deck here. Movement towards adventure. Mystical Shaman. So somebody may have been taking some time under the moon. Let's see. This is Galactic Mushroom, the Divine Matrix, 24. Somebody who's got an emerging understanding and consciousness is raising. They look very chagrined and maybe feeling tired or aged or older than their years here. Maybe an old soul, but coming through and detoxing. A huge unloading here needs or did just happen. Crossing with a closing door, a completion for this individual here. Something definitely, it's like them who had this tower moment, and I see them possibly having that volcano smoking there. Maybe they've had some type of intense situation arise. A blow up, eye of the needle, intentionality. So they're being told to define their path and to be very clear, concise, and walk in their extreme integrity. They're being told to rise above the patterns of the past or the impulses that led them to this lower closed-in view, and closing the door on that and getting back to their pure intention and to mend something. I'm seeing all of these needles as someone who needs to get back into their cosmic belief and to communicate in a better way with their beloved here. And what needs to be awakened here? The lower world. Yeah, somebody was, I feel, emerging upward from the impact or the hold that the lower world had upon them, and they're emerging like peeling the onion. They didn't realize perhaps that they were in this lower self until some type of a door may have been closing right in their face. Maybe. In the past, ghost dance. So somebody is still wrestling with the ghosts of their past here, possibly parental or early childhood, or it could just be X energy, because we already talked about that. And then wild woman coming forward. So for the one individual, they're really getting back into their roots. And I feel that I don't want to assign genders too much, but I see more of the person in the first group was somebody who's heart-centered. The second one was somebody who acted possibly in an unconscious way without understanding the full ramifications. But the outcome is a liberated woman. It's somebody who's not willing or able or not able to be controlled in the traditional sense of, caught in a net of anything. She's liberated and sovereign unto herself. She lives from the land and lives in tune and in line with source and with the elementals, based in reality, and had this reality check here, mimicking this closing door over here. Yeah, one person was somewhat in their unconsciousness. So, but there's with this magical tantric journey shift, there's been an illuminating moment happening for the individual who is in their unconsciousness, and a huge redirection. And the other person, the heart-based person, even though we have radical acceptance, we also have refusal of the call. I'm not going to take these yet. Refusal of the call can happen in a number of ways. You've got to set some type of a boundary. You've got to use your throat chakra to advocate for what you want in this way, and to not allow anything to steal your energy or steal your dreams from you, or to gaslight, manipulate you, or to play out their chronic karmic wheel with you, because I'm seeing that you're more in charge of this situation, if I want to say that. Okay, falling out now. I have I miss you. Mixed signals. Give me a sign. What would your best friend say? Synchronicity, luck, divine intervention. So somebody is healing, but tread carefully here. Somebody was feeling triggered by old trauma and felt the need for self-protection. That's definitely Sun and Mercury going into the sign of Cancer is very self-protective of the family, the home, and the self, and will sidestep controversy and conflict sometimes, even as a cardinal sign, to just preserve protection. They'll just maybe go ghost. Oh, and then we say I never told you. Mask, front, explore and express your unique individuality, cutting cords, release, completion, leveling up, I dream about you, and walking away from learning their lessons and wasn't at their best. They were possibly scared of commitment. There's a return and reunion. So it looks like somebody got triggered. They haven't felt comfortable, perhaps, or supported in being their unique self, and so there was more homogeny on the one side, and playing in the lower realms of jealousy, envy, competition, insecurities. And the other person seems like they were leveled up, and they, yeah. I see that this is a good thing, though. Anything else here? Gaslighting, manipulation, look deeper. So there's definitely a need to stay grounded and to guard your lucid space, but call it as you see it. Addiction, self-medication, stay lucid. Throat chakra, enlighten your energy with play, joy, and humor. Recognize trauma bonding in the moment and set yourself straight. Call it out. You need and deserve a best friend, a lover, partners, somebody grounded in earth. Okay. Somebody was trying to impress you and wanted you to chase, but they're building confidence with their father issues on the board here. Possibly somebody with I, J, K, or L for their initials, but they think about you all day and they're ready to come back. And it seems like that's going to be an opportunity for a teaching moment here for both individuals to set the new tone. It seems the heart-based reality individual needs to set a new tone, and the other individual needs to, I don't want to lose myself again. So not to lose sight of the narrow passageway of what it takes to stay involved in co-creation in a delightful way, right? Creation and manifestation in a delightful way is so priceless. And if you have somebody who's spinning a different reality and manipulating, then yeah, interesting. So I don't know who this is playing out with you in your life. Could be anybody, different people on different timelines, relationships, bosses, family members. All right, couple here flying out. We have Orchid, Priestess of Destiny, number 21, emerging maybe from a dark moment with some pearls of wisdom. Moksha of Kali, there's that enlightening moment, the expansion and conception through the muddy waters. There comes that beautiful bloom. And then Guya Kali, and this is the one who doesn't put up with anything, the four-armed goddess. And under the deck, the Dance Unveiling. That was the main card that drew me to this deck, and it was my Twitter avatar for a number of years before I knew that it was Kuan Yin. Little backstory there. So that's a 9. The Dance Unveiling is about letting the universe reveal its cards to you as it will, and not jumping the gun with assumptions, but allowing things to come through as they will, and letting your destiny unfold, and continuing to honor the fragility of moments with integrity and all of those things. So I'm going to read just a little bit of 39, the Moksha of Kali, and then that. Yeah, see what it is. I appreciate all you guys coming along and resonating with these messages. Her passionate desire for liberation is unflagging. Yeah, we know it, right? And so your relief shall come swiftly. She is speaking to you from within. She's the voice of reassurance. Can you hear her? Trust her. Soon you will see things in a better light. You're going to be liberated from the struggle you're currently experiencing. Be true to yourself and your life path, and you will attract the way forward as obstacles disappear magically. With this fortune's wheel, do not turn away, for you are destined to overcome all opposition, bringing your sacred path to fruition. Moksha is a Sanskrit word meaning freedom in the sense of complete self-actualization and spiritual liberation. It refers to the attainment of enlightenment as considered the final release from involuntary suffering. The distinction between voluntary and involuntary is made because at a high level, certain divine beings will take on the experience of suffering to assist those who are yet to experience moksha. They help to carry the load and move others forward. So there's this enlightened sense of assisting someone to break through and to see something in a completely different light, and to bear witness and hold space energetically with radical acceptance of this beloved individual, and to support their transition. Here we go, number 28. Guya Kali, our Divine Mother who knows all, with every answer and every mystery within her power to disclose, provides knowledge at the right time and in the best way. An answer to your question shall be provided. Do not immediately dismiss intuitions that are unexpected or that lead you into unexpected territory or unknown territory. Rest and reflect upon your insights, allowing your wisdom, rather than a reaction, to distill their usefulness and value. An entirely new perspective about a matter of importance is awakening. A secret shall be revealed, and all you need to know will be given to you. So this means secret Kali. She's the dark tantric counterpart to the bright goddess Lalita Tripura Sundari. She is the same triune nature. Oh, do you remember I said 3 instead of free? So interesting. But does not dwell in the light and is not accessible to just anyone who simply calls upon her as a loving mother. Codependent mother issues, maybe? She is so powerful and so potentially disturbing in her fierce liberation that she is shrouded in mystery, unknowable to any except those who are able to tolerate her revelations. The Tantras teach that to connect with her requires initiation and the guidance of a teacher. What does that mean? There are some insights we must be ready for. Even though they're ultimately helpful, we're unable to accept some truths without the experiences that prepare us to understand and even embrace what we would have tried to avoid at any cost. It can take time to become ready to deal with the pain that arises and to recognize uncomfortable truths, even though it's the good kind of pain that frees you and will eventually end, rather than keep you trapped in the loop of repetitive suffering. Yeah, peeling that Band-Aid off and taking that short pain of choice and the declaration of your needs in the moment is going to completely change the situation. And whether or not this individual that's being impacted is the one that then creates or moves with you into this fortune's wheel, the fortune's wheel is, I feel, on your side, so to speak. The witness under that. Yeah, it's like somebody in your home perhaps is witnessing you taking back your power, right use of power with crown games and soul retrieval here. It's like noticing that there are other individuals that are also seeing you, and that you're setting this standard high for all to understand the better way forward, right? The harbinger of higher consciousness and unity consciousness. But it says that she dwells in the shadows, in the cremation grounds, in the places less accessible emotionally and psychologically, dealing with those harsh healing issues and the influences that have come through. These are the interior realms where only the most committed adepts dare to venture. We do not choose her. When we're ready, she chooses us. When we enter into an experience that shakes the foundations of our current understanding, there's often a period of disbelief, shock, and confusion that precedes newfound clarity. you may find that your entire world has been turned upside down on its head. When a revelation takes us beyond the breaking point of what was once provided emotional or psychological safety, we're catching a glimpse of her handiwork. This is why we need holding by someone, not in the old way, but by an enlightened witness. Witness who shows up as a therapist, healer, or spiritual teacher, a mentor, or even a friend, evolved enough to know how to love, empower, and to be in wisdom, rather than try to rescue you. If you're enough of a spiritual badass to have attracted Guya Kali, then no matter how difficult things may temporarily seem to be, you can be sure you don't need rescuing. You just need support and presence as you take the steps now necessary. There are teachings in the Guya Kali Tantras that depict her seated upon her lion seat, or simhasana, which is a posture in the physical practice of yoga that releases negative energy. Her appearance is not merely for stirring things up. There are systems that are comfortable at one level, but at another are holding a lot of negative energy which needs to be discharged and transmuted. Her appearance lets us know that whatever is being challenged by our new perspective has been a source of negative energy in our lives, even if we believed it was a support. We don't have to dismiss or disregard what has been, nor be ungrateful for all we learned from it. However, it's time to realize the true nature of certain circumstances, to take off rose-colored glasses and see things for what they are. Her scimitar shows her ability to be free from conditioning, so that deeper mysteries can be understood. Her mace shows her power, strength, and authority, including her capacity to deliver powerful blows that will destabilize false structures and help us discover truth when we're ready and capable of bearing witness to it. Her two hands in blessing reassure us that we shall be able to recognize, process, and prosper from the truth, and we do not need to fear the revelations unfolding in our lives. This is Kali, after all. If she rocks your world, it is to till the soil of the soul so that abundant new life can flourish. Yes, I think that is absolutely it. It's something about spiraling right back out of that negative space, reclaiming the full power and capacity, and using our energy in a positive way to communicate boundaries and to slay those demons. Yes, to advocate what we rightfully deserve and expect. Yes. Thank you all so very much for joining me. And if you want to check out any of the other broadcasts, they all are intended to be timeless. Just go by the title, whatever resonates with you in the moment. And if this resonated, do try to like, share, subscribe, join in for more, and help us grow the channel. Thank you so much, and best of luck and healing to your journey going forward. Trust in the process, in the self-belief, in the development of your delight. No matter if it's the current situation, delight is your birthright. And when respect is not served, definitely know to set that boundary and get up from that table and go where it is being served. Take care of you. Bye for now.